Imagine absolute silence. No wind, no sound, no direction. Just an endless frozen darkness. A place so empty that even light feels alone. Out here, distance loses meaning. The nearest star is trillions of miles away. And between them, nothing. No warmth, no protection, no signal of life. And drifting through this void is something we built. A machine, small, fragile, ancient, moving silently through the dark at over 38,000 miles per hour. So far away that a message from Earth takes nearly a full day just to reach it, and another day to hear it respond. But this is where the story changes, because this object was never meant to be here. It was never meant to go this far, and it was never meant to be alone. Its name is Voyager 1. And right now, it is the most distant object humanity has ever created. In the late summer of 1977, humanity took a risk. Not with one machine, but with two, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. Identical, built side by side, launched just weeks apart from the same planet with the same mission: to explore the outer solar system. At the time, this was ambitious, but still limited. The goal was simple: visit the giant planets, collect data, send it home, and then the mission would end. Because nothing about these machines suggested longevity. Their computers were weaker than the devices we carry in our pockets today. Their memory measured in kilobytes. They recorded data on magnetic tape. Fragile technology sent into the harshest environment in the universe. Radiation, extreme cold, total isolation. By all logic, they should have failed, but they didn't. Instead, they became something else. Not just probes, not just tools, but explorers. And as they left Earth behind, carrying a message from an entire planet, they began a journey that no one fully understood at the time. Because this mission was never supposed to last forever. But somehow, it didn't stop. The Voyagers were not sent into space without a plan. Their mission relied on something rare, a moment that only happens every 176 years. The giant planets had aligned: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, positioned in a way that allowed a spacecraft to visit them all in a single journey. Using gravity, each planet would act like a slingshot, pulling the spacecraft in and then hurling it forward at even greater speed. A chain reaction across the solar system. This was called the Grand Tour, and Voyager arrived at the perfect time. First came Jupiter, a world of violent storms and crushing pressure. Clouds twisting across its surface, driven by winds faster than anything on Earth. A storm so large it could swallow our planet whole. And orbiting around it were moons that changed everything. Io covered in erupting volcanoes, Europa hiding an ocean beneath its frozen surface. For the first time, we saw these worlds up close, not as distant points of light, but as places. Then came Saturn, a place surrounded by rings that looked calm from afar, but up close were chaos. Billions of fragments of ice and rock colliding at incredible speeds. A moving storm stretching for hundreds of thousands of miles. And beyond the rings, Titan, a moon with a thick atmosphere. Dense, orange, unfamiliar. A world that looked almost like Earth, but wasn't. And this is where the mission changed. Because this encounter was never just about observation. It was a choice. One that would decide where Voyager would go next. And whether the two spacecraft would ever stay together. Up to this point, the Voyagers had moved together. Two machines, one mission. Following the same path through the outer solar system. But at Saturn, that changed. NASA had a decision to make. Continue the journey outward, or take a closer look at something unusual. Titan, Saturn's largest moon, hidden beneath a thick atmosphere, dense and opaque, a world no one had ever seen clearly. To study it up close, Voyager 1 had to change course, not slightly, but permanently. It would dive toward Titan, using its gravity to reshape its path. And that path would not lead to other planets. Instead, it would send Voyager 1 upward, out of the plane of the solar system. A one-way direction. There was no return. Voyager 2, meanwhile, stayed the course, continuing forward toward Uranus and Neptune, completing the grand tour alone. And just like that, the two spacecraft separated. Born together, launched together, traveling side by side for years, only to be pulled apart by gravity. Sent in completely different directions, they would never meet again. Not in thousands of years, not ever. One heading toward the cosmic north, the other toward the cosmic south. Two explorers drifting farther apart with every second. And from this point on, their journeys would never be the same. For decades, the Voyagers traveled under the protection of the sun. Because our star does not give off light, it creates a shield, a vast bubble of changed particles known as the heliosphere, extending far beyond the planets, wrapping the solar system in a protective layer. Inside this bubble, the influence of the sun dominates. Solar wind flows outward. Radiation from deep space is pushed back. It is a boundary between our system and everything beyond it. But that boundary does not last forever. The farther you travel, the weaker the sun becomes, until eventually its influence fades and the environment changes. The solar wind slows, then stops, replaced by something colder, more violent. Cosmic rays, high-energy particles from distant stars and exploded supernova. And then, the crossing. Voyager 1 became the first human-made object to leave the solar system, not by reaching a physical edge, but by passing beyond the sun's influence, entering interstellar space, a region between the stars where the sun no longer protects it. Voyager 2 followed years later, crossing the same boundary in a different direction. And just like that, both spacecraft were no longer explorers of planets. They had become something else, messengers, moving through the space between the stars. Out here, there is no sunlight to rely on, no energy to collect, no way to recharge. The Voyagers survive on something else. A small nuclear power source, slowly decaying, producing less energy every single year. And as that power drops, choices have to be made. Systems are shut down, instruments turned off, functions sacrificed, just to keep the spacecraft alive. One by one, they go silent, not because the mission is over, but because the machine can no longer support itself. And the environment is not helping. The temperature is approaching absolute zero. The cold is constant, relentless. Over time, it begins to affect everything. Components weaken, signals degrade, data becomes harder to send. And then, something unexpected happened. Voyager 1 started behaving strangely. Instead of sending usable data, it began transmitting something else. A stream of signals that made no sense, repeating, distorted, unreadable, as if the spacecraft was losing its ability to communicate. From Earth, engineers sent commands, but distance changes everything. It takes over 20 hours for a signal to reach Voyager, and another 20 hours to hear a reply. Nearly 2 full days for a single attempt. For that entire time, there is nothing. No confirmation, no feedback, just silence. And then, a response. The signal returned. The system was corrected, but the problem remains. Voyager is aging. Its power is fading. Its systems are failing one by one. And eventually, there will be nothing left to turn off. Nothing left to transmit. No way to speak back. And when that happens, Voyager will not stop. It will simply continue forward, alone, silent, unreachable. Long after the signals stop, the Voyagers will keep moving. No guidance, no corrections, no destinations. Just momentum, carrying them forward through the dark, drifting past stars that will never notice them. Passing through regions of space no human will ever see. And attached to both spacecraft is something else. A message, not for us, but for anything that might find them. The Golden Record, a small gold-plated disc designed to survive for billions of years. Inside it is a snapshot of Earth. Sounds, images, music. The voice of humanity encoded into something physical. A message in a bottle thrown into a cosmic ocean. If something discovers it, it will learn who we are, what we sounded like, what we valued, that we existed at all. But there is another side to this story, because the Voyagers will outlast us. In billions of years, the sun will expand, the planets will be gone, every trace of human civilization erased. But these machines will still be out there, cold, silent, intact. Two small objects drifting through an empty universe, carrying the last evidence that we were ever here. The Voyagers were never meant to go this far. They were built to explore planets, but somewhere along the way, their mission changed. They became something else, not just explorers, but messengers. And one day, the signals will stop. We will lose contact, and we will never hear from them again. But they will keep going, drifting through the darkness between the stars. Long after we are gone, a silent reminder that for a brief moment in time, we were here, and we reached out into the unknown. Join us next time as we explore more mysteries of the universe.